Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today I have a layout process video for you using these beach trip photos and my Counterfeit Kit Club kit. Now if you don't know what that is, you can find all the information about this kit build project in the show notes, and I do have a build video so you can go back and watch that as well. Now I am choosing papers from this kit that have a beachy feel, even though none of them are beachy themed. So I'm going to choose that base layer that is a nice blue color, which reminds me of the ocean. And those circles actually kind of remind me of foam on the waves, so that all kind of works into what I'm thinking about for this layout. Now, I will talk a little bit more about those two sunset photos on the bottom there as we move along through this process. I also chose rainbow paper up there, and I'm tearing it and putting it at the top because the rainbows definitely play into the sunshine sunset photo there. And I'm going to go ahead and give my two main photos a matte on black. Now, that sunset photo was actually just originally one regular picture, and because my camera is good enough that I can enlarge the picture, I enlarged it to 4 by 12, and then I broke it down into two pieces using my photo software, and I was able to print out kind of a panoramic view of this. Now, because my printer kind of stretches the photos when it's called the bleed, when you print edge to edge on a photo, it stretches it out a little bit, and that made it not quite 12 inches long anymore once I overlapped these photos to kind of line up the image. So I purposefully trimmed off a little bit of that edge there, and I had some excess glue, so I'm fixing that. And what I'm going to do, why I purposefully trimmed off that edge is so that I could line this photo up and leave a frame of that background pattern paper around it. And I just adhered it at the bottom so that I could tuck these other two photos underneath. Now that photo right there that I'm working with is not a great photo, and I'm okay using imperfect photos. That was some elk that were walking on the dunes behind the vacation house that we were staying in. And so I love seeing the wildlife, and even though it's not a great photo, I'm just going to go with it. Okay, this kit had a lot of buttons in it. I have a huge stash of buttons, and I have not played with them in ages, so I wanted to be sure to put these buttons in my kit. And I have both these kind of floral shaped buttons and then traditional buttons, and I wanted to use them all up. So I made a row of buttons down there, again, to mimic the watery feel. And I'm going to add some twine to several of my buttons, not all of them, that would be a little bit of overkill, but I'm going to add some twine bows to a few of them to give that kind of natural beach grassy feel to it. So you can give your pages definitely themed feels to them without using themed products. And that's actually how I prefer to scrapbook, because I don't like to buy a lot of specific products and then have them left over. So I'm adding a few extra doodads to the top left to help balance off the weight of all those buttons on the bottom. And it's a combination of some rolled paper flowers that I handmade, and that's in my kit build video if you want to see how to do that, and I will have all the links for you in the show notes. And then I'm adding those kind of flower-shaped buttons up there, and I popped one up with some foam dots, and I had sequins in this kit, so I'm going to give my flowers a little bit of center with these sequins, and then I'm going to sprinkle sequins as a border between my sunset photo and the other photos. And again, those sequins are just mimicking the sparkle on the water of the sunset, and I'm not going overboard with them, but I am giving a good row of them. And I use that instead of extra pattern paper, so that is a fun element to add. And then I had a journal card out that I thought I was going to use, but I decided that I wanted a banner on this print instead of the other journal card had like a flag kind of element to it, and I wanted this banner element because I wanted to add more of that twine in here. And I liked, if I add something to one area of my layout, I like to repeat that element in other places so that it seems more purposeful and more intentional. So I try to keep elements repeating. And so I'm going to string up these little pieces on this banner. Because this twine was kind of fibrous, it was a pain, so I'm not going to show you all of that. It did take me a little while. And then I pulled out my journal card die set here from Lawn Fawn, and I used that to make all of those journal cards that I had pre-made. But because I wanted some arrow elements to add to the photo of those elk there, I pulled that set back out and used the included kind of arrow pieces in there to add a little bit more emphasis to that photo. And when I've got bad photos, that's a trick I use often. Now here I am fixing my title because I was out of E's. I took an F and cut off a hyphen to continue making that E, and it's not perfect, but it works enough for me. And in my kit, I also had this birthday word stamp set from Photoplay, and I will have link to relevant products in the show notes for you also. This set is fun because it has lots of little sayings that you can add to your birthday greeting, and I find that these sayings can be useful for lots of different things. So one of them said party animal, and I used that. And I'm going to put that in between the people and the elk because I think that's rather amusing. And then one of them I think just says beautiful. And so I just found phrases that would fit with the feeling of this layout. I heat embossed them with white embossing powder on just a scratch of black paper. And here you can see a little bit of a close-up of that. And I popped them up in a couple of places, and that calls it good for this layout. So I like also using themed products for projects that are outside of that theme altogether. So it stretches your supplies to do it this way. So I'm leaving you with these close-ups of this layout. I hope you enjoyed that. If you got something useful out of my video, please do give me a like. And if you want to see more of my work, then go ahead and subscribe. And next week I will have 3 more new videos for you. One is a mixed media layout process. I have the SCT Sampler Kit unboxing and project. And then Friday I have my free Cut File Friday project. So I hope you join me again. I'll see you then.